Hello and welcome to Culture Shark, a live stream about all things pop culture. I'm Final Monkey,
And I'm Caleb.
and today we are entering the world of dog revenge. It is the world of John Wick, the Keanu Reeves series that has had four, sort of five movies and sort of a spinoff. So today we're going to go over the four movies, but before we do, I think Caleb is going to talk about the latest film in the series.
Yes. Yes. So,
So I haven't seen this, so I'm gonna let Caleb take it away.
yes. And so this one, this will be spoiler free. So, no worries about that. Um, Me and my friends went to go see this the day it came out. We're all big John Wick fans. And so this one is a little different. It is not directed by Chad Stileski. So don't expect it to be the same uh, action. It is very action packed, but it is a different style of action. This is directed by Len Wiseman, who did the Underworld series. So you'll be seeing action more akin to the Underworld series, which I love Underworld, so that's not an issue. Um, my main issue with this film is it it starts about 20 minutes too early. There's just a lot more backstory that we get for Eve Macaro than we ever do for John Wick, and I'm like, this isn't why you're here, you know? Like once there's a point where like the time jumps stop because it starts when she's a kid, and then it's like 12 years later, and then it's like 2 months later. Once the time jump stops, that's when the movie starts, and that's when it gets really good. So those first 20 minutes, I think we could have shortened that down to maybe like 2 minutes, and it would have been fine.
Mhm.
But the rest of the movie is great. I'm a big fan of the Underworld series, so the action is great. It's not as interesting as the John Wick films. The John Wick films action are, they have longer one shots in their action. The one shots are not as long, but they're still really good. And Keanu Reeves is actually in this way more than I thought he was going to be as well. So that's also really fun. Um,
Are the new characters, are they fun?
oh
Because
yes,
that's one of my issues with some of the sequels is I don't think the characters are fun. So, but we
gotcha.
will get to that. But uh, yeah,
Yeah. So, I mean, that honestly, that actually may be where we disagree because, like, you know, from my perspective, I think the new characters are fun. I do wish Norman Reedus cut his hair because, I mean, Norman Reedus has looked like Daryl since Blade 2. And
yeah,
like I can't like I'm watching him in this movie and I'm like, I know you're supposed to be a different character, but I mean like you look and dress exactly like Daryl.
is he doing the same voice?
Yes.
It's like I know you could. I know you have a different voice, dude. Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like, I mean, he's always kind of been my pick for like a Disney Plus Ghost Rider, like a Johnny
Mhm,
Blaze.
mhm.
Um and I'm like, but dude, like you got to cut your hair and you got to do a different voice.
Yeah.
um but Yeah, so I enjoy this. If I had to say, it's it's not as good as one, two, or four. It's probably more on the level of John Wick 3, which we'll get to it. In my opinion, is the weakest of the four. So it's probably more on that level. But I mean, at this point, there's not a bad John Wick movie. So uh, at least in my opinion. So I definitely recommend this. Yeah, go see it.
Yeah, sadly, the movie did underperform a little, so I don't know if we'll be getting more of these crossovers. We'll talk a little bit more about that towards the end. Uh,
Yeah, I do think regardless, we're gonna get at least one more. Um,
okay.
because they kind of set one up, and it's one that I really want.
Yeah, I think we're on the same page with that. So,
Yeah.
okay, all right. So we're going to go into probably spoiler mode here in a minute.
Yep.
I mean, if you haven't seen the John Wick movies, it's a guy who lost his dog, is getting revenge, and that's the lightest spoilers. I mean, it's a lot more than that, but that's just a movie. If you are squeamish over dogs dying, um, there's a scene that's brutal. It happens very quick, and then we move on.
Yep.
So um, that's in the first movie. Then the other movies have hints of animal violence, but it's not as bad as the first one. I think
Yeah.
that's the safest way to put it. So we're going. Let's go full spoilers now. So if you haven't seen John Wick, go see it. All right. So if you'll get the little spoiler
Yep.
banner going here.
Uh,
So there have been four movies. And I don't think either of us have seen the spinoff, the Continental show.
no, no, I don't. I don't have Peacock. I've been meaning to, and that's another thing. So my friend Ben said that there's, and this is where the homework thing uh, comes into play.
Mhm.
But it doesn't ruin the movie, so I didn't necessarily bring it up. But he said that there's something in the ballerina that like connects to the Continental, but it's not noticeable, so it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Um, but my friend also said that uh, to give a brief review of the Continental from my friend, he says the first episode is not good. The second two episodes are great.
Okay.
So, yeah, there's a Continental from a shark adjacent.
Yeah. So this movie, the first one starts out kind of simple. You know, we see that John Wick's wife has died, has left him this puppy, and um,
So
some
that way he's not grieving alone.
yeah, and then some Russian jerks see his car and they want the car. He says no, and then they do a home invasion on him, steal the car, and kill the dog. Not realizing who they're messing with, and as you know, the audience finds out, oh, this is a former, probably the greatest hitman in the world, uh,
Yeah.
John Wick, and
Yeah.
we start to realize that this world is not like our world.
I think uh, I think once John here's the thing. Uh, so John Wick came out when Keanu was kind of on uh, a downward slump, where
Yeah,
like because 47 Ronin and Man of Tai Chi came out like it was around the time whenever Keanu Reeves was in a movie, you knew it was going to be bad.
yeah, and I think everybody was kind of they were done with the Matrix. They were tired of it,
Yeah,
and you know he had become kind of I don't know typecast as Neo. I would say
yeah.
just
Um, and so eventually, John Wick comes out. Which, fun fact, Chad Stileski and I'm trying to think. So the first movie was Chad Stileski and I think his name is David Leitch. Uh, Let me see. Uh, yeah, David Leitch. So they were both stunt coordinators on the original Matrix trilogy, and so they were very familiar with working with Keanu. David Leitch would go on from this movie, John Wick. He would distance himself from John Wick. He would go on to do movies such as um, Atomic Blonde, Deadpool 2, and Bullet Train. So these guys definitely know what they're doing, and that's the whole interesting thing about the John Wick series is these are movies by stunt coordinators. Because they were stunt coordinators on the Matrix films, um, and so they would go on to they would work with Keanu on this. And the interesting thing is it you kind of don't know what you're watching for maybe those first 20 minutes. You're just watching a sad guy drive around in his car and
Hmm.
get beat up. And then whenever the Russian kid takes the car to John Leguizamo, John Leguizamo punches him, and then Vigo, the big bad of the um, of this movie, calls John Leguizamo and says, "I hear you struck my son." Yeah, he stole John Wick's car and killed his dog. And then Vigo just goes, "Oh."
Yeah,
That's when that's when you know that's when you know the type of movie you're watching because
yeah,
because everyone knows John Wick. John Wick is not the boogeyman. John Wick is the guy you send to kill the boogeyman. He is the Baba Yaga.
yeah, and then so yeah, so now you know what kind of movie you're watching. Well, then when they send the hitman to attack his house, and the cops arrive, like, oh great, he's got to deal with the cops, and the cops are just like, oh, hey
You
John,
work
you're working again.
you working again?
All right, well, and now you're like, oh wait, what is this world? What is going
Yeah,
on here? And then when he calls the cleaners in, and yeah, so you start realizing, oh, things are. This is
yeah,
a weird world we're in here. And then when he gets to Continental, this, and there's all these mysterious gold coins he keeps handing out to everybody. You start
yeah.
realizing, oh, this world operates differently.
Yeah, which I love Ian McShane. I love Lance Reddick, rest in peace. The Continental is probably one of my favorite parts about this whole franchise because like even in my D&D sessions that I run with my friends, um, I have made this secret assassin syndicate that has like these hotels in each city. um, that like is where people stay and business is not conducted on continental ground.
It is both my favorite and least favorite part of the series, but it is a cool concept. It reminds me of Holy Ground and Highlander. It's this safe space, and but also I feel like I'm watching Whose Lines It Anyway sometimes, where it's like, oh, the rules don't matter, the points don't matter. We're just making it up as we go. I get this feeling sometimes where as you go from movie to movie, it feels like they go back and forth with the rules, especially like part three. I think part three is kind of all over the place. We'll get to part three.
I do think part 3 is the weakest of the four.
Yeah.
um but I it's the weakest of the four, but at the same time of so we also kind of abide by anime rules in these movies, because each movie has like a rival character.
Hmm.
And this rival character is, oh, what's her name? Miss.
Palecki.
Oh
It's
yeah, yeah. It's Adrian Palecki. Miss. I don't remember her name. I think of the Miss Perkins. Of the four like rival characters, she might be the weakest of the four. Um, But I mean, honestly, that's kind of what you want in your film of four. You want your rival characters to constantly get better.
yeah, and I mean, she's there, but I feel like, well, I guess every movie is the main threat, someone else, not the rival, but um, yeah, she's just kind of there. The main threat is, the story is him taking on the Vigo and
Hmm.
his family. So
Yeah. Um. So, what did you think of what did you think of Yosef's death?
So which one is that? Is that
That's the kid.
the kid from Game of Thrones? Yeah, he. Yeah, it's quick when it happens. You're like, oh, is he gonna make him suffer? And it's just blam blam.
Yeah. No. I mean, like you don't even see his face. Like it's as if he's killing another. It's just as if he's killing another uh, henchman.
Yeah, and I think part of what made these movies catch on, we kind of touched on it a little earlier, is the gun fu that they kind of invented, I guess, for this movie.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's other movies that did something similar, but this one really made it popular.
Yeah, if anything, they were probably inspired by the gun kata from Equilibrium,
Hmm.
but it's not as rigid. Like the gun kata uh, from Equilibrium is it's supposed to be rigid. That's kind of the style of it. This is it's gun fu. It's a little bit more raw than gun kata. So I would definitely say that they invented this here.
Hmm.
Um, but it's like any martial arts, it takes its cues from a previous fighting style with gun kata.
Yeah. Um, I also like how in this world everybody kind of knows John Wick. The
Yeah,
scene with Kevin Nash as the bouncer outside the nightclub was a lot of fun.
yeah,
Where he's like, "Oh, why don't you take the night off?" And he's like, "Oh, thank you, thank you." It's like I get to live.
yeah. Um, you know what's one thing that I always forget about the first movie? Like, because like by the time you get to the fourth movie, you kind of forget that this movie started with Willem Dafoe was in this movie.
Yeah, Marcus. Yeah.
And so yeah, he's great. He's kind of barely in it though, so it's understandable that one would forget that Willem Dafoe's in this movie.
Hmm.
But
And throughout the movie, you think he's trying to kill John Wick, but he's keeping him safe. He's
yeah,
warning him about the other attacks and stuff, and he pays a price for that.
yes.
So that part sucks, but
Uh,
um,
but
this movie also starts the trend of John Wick getting severely injured and keeps going.
yeah, well, yeah. That's what it is. So people always make the joke that like this is my pitch for the next Doom movie. Chad Stileski should do the next Doom movie,
Hmm.
because the joke is that the Doom Slayer, um, like you could put Doom Slayer, John Wick, and Darth Maul all in that in the same like. He's just too angry to die. And that's just something you got to accept. You got to accept that he is so angry that he will not die.
Yeah.
Which I mean, honestly, they kind of touch on that in four. So, well, they don't touch on that. They actually just come out right. They come right out and say it in four.
Yeah.
But yeah, he is just too angry to die, and um, that is exemplified in some of Keanu's best acting, which is in the first movie. Your son took that from me, killed that from me. People all night have been asking me if I'm back, and I haven't really had an answer. Well, you know what? I'm thinking I'm back.
Yeah, he's fun in this. We also get Mayhem from the insurance commercials. He's in this movie.
Yes, yes, he's great, and that's where we do. So they definitely did not invent this. This is definitely something that they have taken from the Wachowskis. They do Carfu in this, which Carfu comes from Speed Racer,
Hmm.
um, and it is great in this movie.
Yeah, it gets a little overdone at points. They do it a lot, but yeah, we'll get to some of my gripes the later movies.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I
and
think
I
the first movie is great though. I think the first movie is simple. It introduces a world, and I think it's just a great film throughout.
and I think this is where we're gonna diverge off because for me, the more ridiculous it is, the more I love it because like that's what I recognize that that's what the film series is. Like it starts off at a boil and then eventually like it boils over and eventually we flood the house with boiling water.
There's a point in part four where I'm like, okay, come on, we'll get there. um, yeah. Anything else we want to say about part one?
No, no, no. Part one is a very simple movie.
And I think it's one you can watch by itself. You're fine if you don't want to watch any more. One's a great little standalone movie.
You definitely could. In a way, I think you can kind of stop at any of them because, like, my dad has watched the first two and he's never watched three or four, and I like it. These are episodes, and like they can just keep going.
Yeah.
um,
So let's move on to two. I remember, and so for this week, I did not rewatch two. I watched someone's reaction to two, where I saw like clips of it just to refresh my memory.
mhm.
I remember not liking two as much as I liked one. Um, I don't know.
Interesting.
I think it's fine. I just don't think it's as good as the first one.
Okay, so I am a little bit different. I do think that two is better than the first one. I think two is actually the second best in the series.
Okay.
Um,
Again, I'm not saying it's terrible. I'm just saying
yeah,
I just don't like it as much as the
sure.
first one.
Yeah, and I think we can go ahead and get this out of the way because we're starting to realize this. We are definitely looking for two different things in these movies. Because for me, like I appreciate the more ridiculous it gets. Um, let's see, Ruby Rose is in this movie. I think she's great. Common is in this movie as well. He's great. We have two rivals essentially in this movie, which is Ruby Rose and Common.
Hmm.
Uh, and this one is more about someone who has realized that, oh man, John's out of retirement. uh, I can finally get him to uh, do what I want him to do because in this world, you have this thing called marks, which are kind of blood promises, um, and he. Um, he was bound by this blood oath from the crime boss Santino to help him do the impossible task. Because that's one thing we didn't go over. Um, the way that John got out of the thumb of the high table in this organization was they gave him this impossible task because they expected him to die. Well, he completed the impossible task. He was able to leave the organization and be with his wife, and then his wife died. Um, and I need it to stay that way. Okay, I don't need it to be like, oh my gosh. So as punishment, they the organization killed his wife. No, she died of like natural causes. Like I just need it to stay like that. I don't need any like I don't need it to like be any like conspiracy.
So spoilers for Incredible Hulk, the comic book. The final two issues of Peter David's run deal with Betty Brant. They're finally happy. Bruce and Betty are happy, and then Betty realizes she's dying from exposure to gamma radiation and dies. And it's about Bruce dealing with the loss of his wife. And the next writer came in and said, "Oh, it was actually Abomination that poisoned Betty," and totally robbed
Yeah,
everything that story had meant. And I don't know if Marvel said that had to happen or what, but it kind of ruined the idea of, oh, through no fault of their own, she died just being around him. It was Hulk's
yeah,
fault. It was his, not his fault, but it was caused by him, you know. And so once you change it to, oh no, it was a nefarious plot and da, 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 it changes the whole tone and meaning of the story.
yeah.
So I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that's where they're going because like I think that me and Chad Stileski are on the same page. Um, so I don't
Yeah,
think
he's
that
in
will be.
D&D group. Y'all on the same page. All right, cool. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we're good.
um, but anyway, so because of this blood oath, now Santino's like, I need you to go kill my sister, who you were once involved with. so I can take her chair at the high table. And he has to do it because of the
Yeah.
blood oath.
Is this where we first start hearing about the high table as part two?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And one of the things we did not touch on, it'll come up here very shortly, is that um, Adrian Padalecki's character broke the cardinal rule of trying to kill somebody in the hotel.
Yeah.
No, no. And
Yes.
so she gets
Kill.
assassinated for it,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
basically executed for it,
Business is not uh,
conducted.
conducted on continental grounds.
Yeah.
Um, so he accepts it because if he doesn't, he is supposedly going to die. Um, and so he goes to Rome, which I think it that's what I like about the John Wick movies is we kind of go from place to place. Um, like in chapter one, it's all in New York City. Chapter two, we kind of start in New York City. We go to Rome, and then back to New York City. Chapter three is it
They go
Egypt?
to Casablanca.
Casablanca. And then chapter four we have Japan and Paris,
Mhm.
um, which it's cool because like you have all these uh, action scenes happening, and it's like, oh yeah, there's the arch from in Paris, or uh, uh, there's the Colosseum.
Yeah.
So
So when he goes to kill Gianna, the sister, she she's like, "No, I'm going out on my own terms." And she strips down for a bath, and then I don't know, can we say this on YouTube?
uh,
She damages her wrists.
yeah,
I'll say that. And
yeah,
then he puts a bullet in her. But
yes,
yeah, so I think that is cool. That's a cool power move. I've
yeah,
lived my life the way I want to. I'm going to die the way I want to.
yeah.
Says a lot about her character, even though she's hardly in the movie. So, um, yeah. And then after this point, now Keanu Reeves is free of the blood oath, and so now
He can kill
he,
Santino if he wants to.
yeah, yeah, and Santino's like, he kind of freaks out. It's like, oh, I'll just stay at the Continental. You
Yeah,
can't get me. Nah, 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 boo boo. I'm on base. You can't get me.
yeah. That I mean, that's really what it is, and I love the childishness of it.
Yeah, just the contrasting the difference between him and his sister. They're very different
Yeah,
personalities.
and he's got some of my favorite lines because he's and I know this because I'm a big fan of food in movies as well. I love binging with Babish on YouTube, where he'll like make food from movies. So he's eating like this steak with these duck fat fries, and he's like, "Have you seen the menu? A man can stay here a long time and never have the same thing twice." Like just saying, I could stay here forever, and you can't get me.
Hmm.
And then John shoots him.
Yeah, doesn't even hesitate. And Winston's like, "What have you done?
Yep.
What are you doing?"
Actually, so we did skip over one thing before.
Mm.
He meets the Bowery King.
Hmm.
I love the Bowery King.
And I don't think it occurred to me until I was watching part three or four. Or someone mentioned it. I was like, "Oh yeah, both these guys are in the Matrix." I just did not occur to me that, oh
So
yeah, this
I,
is a reunion between Morpheus and
interestingly enough, my biggest complaint about three is that there's a missed opportunity for uh another reunion. uh, but we'll get to
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
yeah.
Although I
Um,
did like the girl playing her, but anyhow, um,
but
one of the weird things about this movie is characters. I mean, it's not a bad thing. characters will show up and then they're just gone. Like John Leguizamo. We'll get to Jason Mantzoukas. You know,
Hmm.
like they pop up in this world, like oh they'll be back, and then they just don't show up again.
Yeah.
So, um, yeah,
Yeah, and I mean, I guess to me, it's one of those things. It's like that's how big this organization is.
yeah. The Jason Mantzoukas one is weird because he was like his right hand man of the Bowery
Yeah.
king. I assume he just wasn't available or something. But yeah, we also get Peter Serafinowicz, is that his name,
Yeah.
as a
Peter Serafinowicz.
as the Sommelier, a fun little cameo. So
He is so that is we reference that scene all the time. Um, my my friend Ben, who he is probably the John Wick fan in our friend group. Uh, like he loves that scene. He talks like that in our D&D games. um, and he his you know, we're in Kentucky, like we are in Louisville, so we're in like the yuppie democratic part uh of Kentucky, but you know there's still some stragglers, and so he's kind of wanted to become like this gun guy, and he's like, man, I just want that Benelli M4, the shotgun. And so he's always like, the Benelli M4. um it's like but some dessert for the end of the night. The finest cutlery. I know that you are a fan of the German, but since you've been gone, there have been a resurgence of Austrian arms. um,
yeah,
yeah, Peter Serafinowicz is great. And fun fact, he is half of Darth Maul in Phantom Menace.
he's always great in anything he's in.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So this movie ends with I think of his name. It was like Neo, John Wick, breaking the rule of killing somebody in the Continental because Winston is his friend and father figure. He's like, "I'll give you an hour head start,
Yep.
and then everybody's coming after you."
Yep.
And that's how the movie ends with the hours ticking down,
Yep.
and
And
everybody's
he is
phones are starting to ring, and everybody's
uh,
starting to look at him.
excommunicado is
Yes.
which it's one of those things that like there's a part of me that's like, so why are we why are we uh why aren't we just saying excommunicated? Why are we saying the Latin version? But at the same time, I'm like, because it's cool, man.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah.
That's the thing. Like this is like anti Zack Snyder, because Zack Snyder is rule of cool, but it's not even cool. This is just rule of cool, and you got to accept it. It's like excommunicado.
So let's talk about so John Wick 3 and 4 are John Wick Parabellum and John Wick Volume 4 are the ones I watched for this week for the show. I had not seen them previously.
Hmm.
Um, so Parabellum picks up right where we left off. John is counting down the minutes, uh, and you just see everywhere he goes, people are looking at him because you realize, oh,
Yeah,
there are assassins everywhere.
yeah,
And I think he goes and gets stitched up first. Oh no, that's later. He goes to the library first.
yep.
He drops the dog off, or he has the dog dropped off, and then his new dog, and then he goes to the library where a guy is like, yeah, who cares if it's before the hour or not, and attacks him.
Mhm. Yeah.
And while he's at the library, he gets a book where he has hidden some coins and a picture of his wife and some other stuff. So
Hmm. And he also kills a guy by breaking his jaw with the book. Uh,
yeah, did this remind you of the fight in Bullet Train on the quiet car?
yeah,
Shh, shh. I'm
yeah,
quiet.
yeah. It's great. You know, speaking of his new dog, it did kind of it reminded me of one of my favorite Lance Reddick lines, and I don't know, I love Lance Reddick and everything he's in, where he's like, "How was he? He was a good dog. I enjoyed his company."
Yeah. Yeah. Um, so one of the, I don't know if it's a complaint, just a weird quirk of this universe is the assassins most of the time, there are exceptions, will kill people just in broad daylight, and most people just don't even notice. They just keep walking. They just, I mean, kind of maybe that's a New York thing, or it's like, oh yeah, whatever, two guys fighting over there, you know. But sometimes it gets beyond ridiculous um, when it happens.
Yeah, that's one of those things I like, because now that I know that that's one of your I'm not going. We'll call it a gripe. I think my favorite thing in chapter 4 is probably the thing that you're going to complain about in chapter 4. Because I love that. I think it's hilarious that it's kind of
You're
like
talking about the Frogger scene. We'll get there.
oh,
I'll,
not the Frogger scene. I was thinking of the club scene.
oh, yeah, yeah. We'll
Well,
get there.
well,
Um,
to me, it's kind of like watching like it's like a fight in Tekken or Street Fighter, where like there's just people in the background not paying attention to the fact that people are throwing fireballs.
yeah, and I think um, it's when he gets off the, is it a subway train? And like the two assassins come up and they just stab them in front of everybody, and then no one's letting these
Mhm.
people carry off dead bodies or anything. We'll get there. Um, so part three, you think, oh, this is just going to be a everybody against John Wick movie, and it turns into something else. It's kind of all over the place. This adjudicator shows up and is basically saying, tells Winston, hey, you didn't follow the rules, so you got 7 days, and we're taking the, was he going to be excommunicated, or he's going to be executed in 7 days, wasn't it?
Executed, yes.
Yeah, and they were going to take the Continental, and they told the Bowery King the same thing, which the Bowery King one, I was like, really?
Yeah.
That one, you just supplied a gun to John Wick, and it that one I was just kind of questioning, but um and he,
Uh,
his reactions of, just laughing in her face, and I am the throne. You can't
yeah,
take me down,
yeah. Which I'll go into. So I do love Asia Kate Dillon. She's great in the show Billions on Showtime.
Mhm.
The Adjudicator. I wish it was Carrie Ann Moss.
Yeah, I do like the character though.
Yeah. Uh, that
So
that's where I wish like that's where I wish we would have gotten like the big three from the Matrix in the same movie. Is that I wish it was Carrie Ann Moss. Just because, but Asia Kate Dillon does a great job, and I love her in Billions as well.
so our rival in this movie is Zero, and I could not take Zero seriously
It's because it's Mark Dacascos.
because he's the Iron Chef, and I can't.
Ah, Quincy!
I just can't. I
No,
can't.
no, dog. He's the double dragon. No, it's funny because so he's the Double Dragon. He was Kung Lao in the Mortal Kombat Legacy series as well. So and he's also the Iron Chef. So
Wait, was he? Oh, he was in Double Dragon.
yes, he was
Okay,
a Double Dragon.
I didn't put that together. Okay. Um. Yeah,
No,
I
no,
just I
that's the thing. Like it's one of the things where it's like, man, it's unfortunate that like you're known as the Iron Chef because like he was before the Iron Chef America, he was in all of these martial arts movies.
and I don't. I'm not saying he did a bad job as Zero. It just took me out. I just could
No,
not get
yeah.
past. Oh yes, Iron Chef. It's
No,
just weird, especially when they
it's
introduced him
totally
as
fair.
a chef in the movie.
Yeah, no, it's totally fair. It's totally fair. Um, the fact
I,
that
I
they
think I think yeah. I was just gonna say that, and the whole Halle Berry sequence. Like I was okay with this movie till we got to Halle Berry, and then this movie kind of
Yeah.
went off the rails a little.
Yeah, no, I think the biggest thing with this movie is um the biggest thing with this movie is it got I'm trying to think. This is the most Hollywood of the four. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Um Also, I want to bring this up uh while while we're here. The ballerina coincides with this movie, so it's kind of like a guide-in, like a side story. Like
Mhm.
there's scenes in chapter 4 that also happen in the ballerina. So like whenever John is with the director, and gets the brand on his back and gets his ticket torn. That also happens in the ballerina, but we see it through the eyes of Eve because she's like sneaks in.
Yeah. That makes sense because there are ballerinas in the scene, and I was wondering, oh, we're gonna see her in this scene. I hadn't seen this movie.
Yeah,
She's not there, but they've added her later.
yeah,
Um, so just some of my complaints about this movie. It's too long. It's way too long,
yeah. I agree with
and and there was just a point where the fights just kept going and going and going, and I just got bored with the fights. They're like I think part of it is they're playing the same music, the techno music, and when they kept, I'm jumping ahead, but when they just kept kicking him through the glass things over and over, and I know it's the guys from the raid and they're cool fighters and stuff,
that.
but I was just like, okay, okay, come on, get on with it. There was just a point where I just had enough of the fights.
Yeah. It's so the thing is with this one is uh we also watched the documentary that's on Amazon Prime.
Mhm.
Wick is Pain. We watched that like 2 weeks before Ballerina came out. Like I said, we're all my friend group. We're all kind of big John Wick fans, so we watched the documentary. The whole thing about making the John Wick series is about the why. Um, and before we make John Wick 2, why are we making this one? Before we make John Wick 4, why are we making this one? Even before the first John Wick, they're like, so why are we making this one? I do not remember their why for John Wick Chapter 3. Because like I mean, this one it's the most middle child of the movies because it's not a whole lot like is accomplished in this one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, no, I agree, and it's first one since against him, then he's working with one. It's like all over the place,
Hmm.
plot wise, and Zero does go around taking out people. Um, he chops up the Bowery King pretty
Yeah,
good,
yeah.
which is it's a cool scene. Um, and it's good. It's left vague. Did he survive around? Then at the end, we find out he did survive. Um, yeah, like I said, I was with this movie until they got to Casablanca. And then I was just kind of like, what are we doing?
Yeah. I did like the action scene with like the three dogs.
Yeah,
That
the
was fun.
dogs are cool. The dog attacks were cool, but again, it reminded me, and I mind you, I haven't seen this movie, but of Pirates of the Caribbean 3, where it's like this movie of soul searching and wandering the desert, and suddenly this is part 3 of John Wick 3. We gotta go do some soul searching and wandering the desert.
Ooh,
I,
this is interesting. So I didn't know this. This is what I read. In January 2018, it was reported that Hiroyuki Sanada was in talks to join the cast. Sanada was originally going to be cast as Zero, but suffered a torn Achilles tendon, and the role was given to Mark Dacascos.
oh, that would have been so much better.
But hold on, I think I like his character better in
Oh,
four.
I do too. I do too. Yeah, I'm thinking, oh, missed opportunity, but yeah, I'm glad he got the
Yeah,
role he did.
yeah. Uh,
Um, all right, yeah. So they meet the elder, and he chops off his wedding finger as a commitment, and all that. It's
mhm.
I don't know. It was just kind of okay.
Yeah, no, this one is the most you know what, and even you know what, the more I talk about it, the more I'm like, no, Ballerina is way better than this movie. um so yeah, no, Ballerina is better than this movie. Um but I don't know, it's still one of those that's like, if you know that it's dumb and it's the most middling movie, and I'll go ahead and just lay my cards out on the table. Uh, I believe that John Wick Chapter 4 is one of the greatest. It is the greatest action movie, the greatest modern action movie, if not one of the greatest action movies of all time. And so you're watching Chapter 3 because you need to get to Chapter 4.
Sure, yeah. Um, I agree with that. I think 4 is great. I'll go ahead and say that. Uh, but yeah, 3, like I said, it's kind of a mess, and at the end, he goes back to Winston, and a adjudicator comes in, and Winston's like, "Yeah, Are you gonna step down?" He goes, "No, I don't think I will." And like, "Okay, about you? You gonna put a bullet in his brain?" "No, I don't think I will."
Yeah.
That's a fun scene. And then just her, the rules of this universe are so weird. Just her, okay, I'm gonna go wait in the hotel room until this is over and call you randomly to taunt you. It's just weird.
Mhm.
Um,
Well,
so
I mean, honestly, and I'd love to do a little bit more research on this. It's one of those things. I do think that the rules are really consistent. I think it's just one of those things where like people like there are just so many. The rules are so vague that loopholes are a thing amongst backstabbing assassins. So I think they're pretty consistent. It's just they're easy to get around.
well, I mean, the whole "we're gonna take the Continental from away from you," then being part four, "Oh, we took the Continental away from you." After he made a deal at the end of this one, but I guess because all these movies are running together in my head, John Wick technically didn't die. That's why I go, "Well, you didn't kill him."
Yeah.
Um, yeah, Winston pulling a gun on John Wick and shooting him is kind of a shocking moment. The fall off the building is ridiculous. Um,
So there's like an entire 10-minute sequence on that stunt in the documentary. It's insane
yeah,
because
yeah.
it's not CG.
Oh, it's not CG because I,
No,
I couldn't.
no,
Yeah.
it's not. That's somebody falling.
Ugh. Yeah. The final scene of Jason Mantzoukas pushing um, was he a shopping cart? I think he
Yeah,
had the body of a shopping cart and just dumps it at the Bowery King's feet. He's like, "Oh, they took your finger." He
yeah,
flips him off. Yeah, it's funny.
yeah. It's so remember how I said like you can kind of watch any of these movies and like you can stop if you want to stop at two, you can stop at two. It's not an issue. Uh, Three is the exception.
Yeah,
Um,
I do think the endings of these movies are fun. Endings 2 and 3 do have fun endings.
yeah,
Uh, so we'll hop into 4. I think 4 is, like I said, a lot of fun. Um, and just what do they call the Maquis or
the marquee.
the Marquis. I get confused with Star Trek, the Maquis on there. Yeah, the Marquis. Um, and just they have my man in here, Clancy Brown. I love Clancy Brown.
Clancy Brown's great in this movie.
Anytime he's in anything, I'm watching it.
um,
Uh,
Honestly, I think whenever you say that the like the new supporting characters aren't as fun, I guess I'm thinking of this movie, and I'm like, what are you talking
no, no,
about?
no, no, no. I was saying in 3 they were not fun. 4 they
Okay,
are great, and that's what
yeah,
makes 4 so great. You got Mr. Nobody, you got Kane. I think they're awesome in this
yeah.
movie, and I
Uh,
think that's what makes this better than the previous movie.
let's talk about Shamir Anderson. The fact that I've never seen him in anything. I don't. I haven't seen him in anything since this, and yet he, as Mr. Nobody, is keeping up with John Wick and Kane. Because like if you think about it, John Wick, Kane, and Mr. Nobody kind of have like this tritagonist uh sort of dynamic. Like all three of them are kind of the main character in a way.
Hmm.
Like John is definitely like John's name is on there. John is the main character, um, but like we're also on board with Kane and we're on board with Nobody, um, because eventually they got to go up against Killa and the Marquis as well.
Do you think Mr. Nobody's a dig at the Nobody movie?
I've always wondered that. Um, because I've always been under the assumption that like if Nobody is not, and here's my fun here's my fun head canon. Bullet Train, Nobody, Love Hurts,
It's
John
all
Wick.
the same universe.
Like there's nothing that there's nothing that like discounts that theory.
Yeah.
It's so vague that you can do that. But even if they're not in the same universe, I thought that with Nobody, it was the same studio, and like Chad Stileski uh, was like a producer on it at least. I'm gonna look that up real quick.
Yeah, one of them definitely was involved. Um, I'm sure there's some rights issue where they can't officially say it is, but
Oh,
it is.
it was David Leitch. It was David
Yeah.
Leitch that was involved. It might be a dig, but I know that Chad Stileski and David
Yeah.
Leitch are on good terms.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
in the documentary, him leaving John Wick 2 to go do Atomic Blonde was not graceful. Because like, man, John Wick's our thing, but like there's no animosity.
Hmm.
Uh, if anything, maybe not a dig. It might just be a reference.
Yeah. Um, so we see that there's judgment again against the Continental for John Wick, and this is where we lose Winston. Um,
Oh, we don't lose Winston. We lose Sharon.
I'm not. I'm sorry, Sharon. You're right. I said the
Yeah.
wrong name. I'm reading. I'm misreading the Wikipedia plot right now.
Yeah.
Yes. Um, yeah, and it's bittersweet because Lance died in real life.
He
It
died the week that we saw this movie. Uh,
Yeah,
like he died the week this movie came, because we see the John Wick movies like the day they come out. So
yeah.
we saw this the day it came out. Um, in fact, Lance Reddick's death, because Lance Reddick plays Zavala in Destiny, like he's the big leader of the Vanguard. Lance Reddick's death is actually the reason that we got back into Destiny, as like out of respect,
Hmm.
because he was not only was he Zavala, but he was actually a really big Destiny player, and so we kind of had the week he died, we had this big Lance Reddick fest where we went to watch. Um Chapter 4, and then we went home to watch. We went home to play Destiny. So, um,
Um, so
also one other thing, um, Ballerina Sharon is in that. That is his last performance posthumously.
okay. Um, so one of my I'm gonna get off on a sort of related, unrelated side rant about how much I hate AI sometimes.
Okay.
Um, I'm watching John Wick 3, and I get to the end of the movie, so I go to Google and I type in, "Does John Wick 3 have a post-credit scene?" And the AI goes, "Yes, it does." Kane approaches his daughter, and
Oh
uh,
my God.
and I'm like, "Who? What are you talking about?" So later I was, "Oh, it's all about part 4," but John, AI is stupid. It's like, yes, it does. And part 3 ends with. And I was just like, "What are you talking? Who's
Jeez.
Kane? What? What?" So anyhow, we introduced to Cade, who is a played by Donnie Yen, who's
Donnie,
once again playing a blind swordsman again.
if I had a nickel for every time Donnie Yen played a blind martial artist, I'd have two nickels, which isn't much, but it's still weird it happened twice.
Yes. And quite soon after each other. Wasn't like, years and years later. But um yeah, so he is John's old friend, and they're threatening to kill his daughter, so he's like, I'm in. And he's a he's a great character, and this is where I was like, oh, I want to see a movie about this guy.
Yeah.
um yeah, or Mr. Nobody, either one. I'll take a movie of either of them. So yeah, we then switch to Osaka, uh,
Yep.
and and we get to see another Continental, and I really like all this stuff. This
Yeah.
stuff's great. I like that his daughter. Let's see, Koji is played by Sonata, and then his daughter Akira.
Yep.
She does not want John Wick there. She's like, no, he brings death everywhere he goes. We cannot have him here. Um, and then you know, the high table sends in their men and Kane, and uh, we get some pretty amazing fights. Kane is just a cool character, being
Yeah.
blind, and the way he uses the doorbell sensors
Yep.
to fight and stuff. It's just really cool.
Uh,
Lot of stuff is we just
I also
compared to the
lo-
last one where I was bored with the fights. These fights I'm in. I
I
really love this movie.
I love that his cane is also a Chinese rapier.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
so
just
cool. um, my let me bring up Mr. Nobody because I had to explain what was happening with Mr. Nobody to Cameron because so Cameron actually Cameron hadn't seen it until and I don't remember why he didn't go see it with us, but he actually didn't see chapter 4 until the week Ballerina came out because he was going to see it with us.
mhm.
I had to explain what was going on. It's like, well, so why is he saying it? It was like, well, yeah, Mr. Nobody has the chance to kill John Wick at any time. The price isn't good enough yet, so
Yeah,
he keeps saving him so that way the price goes up.
yeah. He wants more money.
It's great.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, this is my kill, but yeah, he keeps asking
Not
for more and
enough.
more money.
And then, like, and then one thing you got to think about, just to skip ahead a little bit, no matter how much the price goes up on the chalkboard for John's kill, it is double for Mr. Nobody
Hmm.
because he says, I want 25 million and then I want an equal amount in my 401k.
Right, right.
so so he's like, I want 50 million for this.
Yeah, yeah. We also have Bill Skarsgård as the
As
villain.
yeah, as the Marquis, he is like, if we're talking about the best villain in the John Wick series.
Yeah,
Oh man, I love it. And I also had to tell Cameron because like I was like, so Cameron, do you know who the bad guy is of this movie? He's like, no, I don't. I was like, okay, okay. And so whenever he shows up, like, oh, who is he? I was like, dog, that's Pennywise. And he's like, I see it in the eyes.
yes. And
Oh man,
again, just great locations. At one point, there's a meeting between Winston and Bill Skarsgård where they're in this art gallery, and I guess I knew that paintings are gigantic, but those paintings are huge.
yeah.
They are is crazy,
Hmm.
and yeah, just really cool. Um, Maybe want to go visit some more art galleries. It's just crazy. Um, but yeah, we get some crazy fights and chase scenes on horses and motorcycles and just all kinds of cool stuff in this. A lot of fun.
So eventually, um, Winston suggests that that John needs to uh, challenge the Marquis to an old-fashioned high table duel, which those are just a rumor, but no, they are very, very real. However, one needs to be a part of a family in order to do that. And as we saw in chapter 3, his ticket was torn from his Russian family. So to he goes to Berlin to get his ticket back.
Mhm.
And his sister Katya says that the leader of of their sect was killed by a high table member, Killa Harkin, played by
Mhm.
Scott Adkins, and like so this came out. This came out around the time of the Batman,
Mhm.
and the makeup they used for Scott Adkins is very similar to the Penguin with Colin Farrell. Because I'm like, that does not look like Scott Adkins at all.
Yeah, this the card game. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, I love the card game, and my favorite thing is whenever Kane, the blind man, looks at it. It's like, let's see.
Yeah, it's just so silly. The blind swordsman playing
Yeah,
poker. It's it's
and
it's
then
it's
his
pretty funny.
and then he's like, let me guess, five of a kind. Yeah, it's it's great. And so for me personally, uh because and I think that's the cool thing about this movie is there are so many good action scenes that even within my friend group everyone has a different favorite fight scene. So this one right here, this is my favorite fight scene. Um, that just takes place, and like I said, it's kind of like it's like a Street Fighter or a Tekken or a Tekken stage where like it's a dance club and everyone is dancing, not paying attention to the fist fight that's happening under the waterfall.
Yeah,
um,
I don't have as much problem with the raves, the crowds and the raves not reacting. I think it's when they're on the street and getting hit by cars and stuff. People just be like,
okay.
yeah, yeah, okay. um, I part of me with how ridiculous it was, I was hoping that Mr. Nobody's dog like joined the rave party and start dancing. Yeah.
Oh man, Mr. Nobody's dog is one of my favorite parts of the movie though, because it's this one is a nice cap, and I'll go ahead and just say that. So this should be the last one. They are making John Wick 5, and I don't know how. um, but with the dog, like I think it brings the whole dog thing full circle with Mr. Nobody's dog, you know, because he eventually John eventually instead of taking the shot at Mr. Nobody, he saves his dog. It's like, oh my god, he saved the dog. Yes.
Yeah.
Uh,
Um, yeah, sorry, I was reading on Wikipedia. Yes. Yeah. So with some fun, really fight sequences and him chasing him through the rave part of everything. It was a lot of fun.
I think his death is fantastic. I
Yeah.
don't. There's something about like because it reminds me of Yosef's death in the first one, where it's just super abrupt.
Hmm.
Because he falls off the balcony and like he it's not like he definitely breaks his neck, but it's not like snapping the neck. It's like his head got jammed in his rib cage,
Yeah.
kind of. um, and so for proof of death, he takes his grills,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. Yeah. Um,
Which another reason this is one of my favorite fight scenes is because though Nobody and Kane want to kill John, this is the point where they all kind of work together, you know, to escape Killa.
yeah. Um, so they make the deal. They have the meeting. Uh,
I love whatever that card game is, like with the glass cards. I need that as like decoration.
yeah, you just need it on your coffee table when someone walks into your house.
And
And they sit down, you just flip over a tile. I'm like, what?
Mhm. Yeah, I also wish I knew how they divided the cards up like that because like I have at first I thought it was gonna be like just like face cards and whatnot, but then John has one that goes up to like 28.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, there aren't 28 cards right here, you know. So
Hmm.
how do we get these cards going?
Yeah.
Um, but it is interesting, and we get more Clancy Brown. I do like. I love the mystery of it. There is a part of me that's kind of like, so what is the what's the org chart for the high table? Like, is the marquee at the bottom of the org chart? Is Clancy Brown above him? Like, what's happening?
Yeah. Yeah. It seems like Clancy Brown's not the elder, but he is a elder member. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not
Um,
important. It's just fun to think about.
yeah. Yeah. So they have dueling pistols at um at at dawn,
Mhm. Uh,
and
at the I don't know how to pronounce it.
Sake.
Sakik.
Sure.
It's some
Uh,
church.
yeah. Um, so I enjoyed this whole sequence of him trying to get to the church, and
Get
the
to the
numerous
church on time. That's what it is.
and the DJ, constantly taunting and
Yeah.
calling him more assassins. Real quick, let's bring up the operators. At first, I thought the operators were cool, and then they just get weirder and weirder as the movie goes
I
on.
That's what I love. I love how weird they get. Like,
Remind me of the guy in Amazing Spider-Man 2 that was like torturing Electro, the scientist guy. You know what I'm talking about?
oh yeah,
That's what it reminded me of. I don't know.
yeah,
It just gets weirder and weirder. Um, all their face piercings and stuff, and just
yeah.
what is going on here? These I can't think of the term, but
No,
yeah.
that honestly, that's why I like it, because, like, in the real world, if these operators were normal, they and not like, well, so it's kind of like it's a play on, like, the traditional operators. They're all like, they've all got their hair up, they're wearing glasses, and they've got like their dresses on. And so, like, usually, like, in the old movies it stopped there, but because this is John Wick, we're gonna give them like full tattoo sleeves and like four lip
This
piercings.
weird dress code, yeah.
Yeah, no, and I love it. I love how ridiculous it is.
Yeah. Um, so they get into a fight at the um well, I don't remember where the fight is, but we get the amazing sequence of the overhead, I guess kind of video game shot of the
Yeah,
fights.
which this is my friend Ben's favorite. Now in any Call of Duty game, he has to use a Dragon's Breath shotgun.
I think my favorite fight is at the Arc. I don't remember what's called. The France landmark, the
Hmm.
is it Arc de Triomphe? Is that how you say
Yeah,
it? I have no idea.
Arc de Triomphe.
It was both my favorite and kind of frustrating at the same time. It reminded me of a game of Frogger where he's
Yeah,
he's dodging all these cars, uh, and I kept wondering where are the wrecked cars, and like there's the part of my brain's like, okay, this wouldn't happen because as soon as there's a wreck, all the traffic's gonna stop. But here it's like the traffic's just constant.
yeah, but it's so
Um,
cool.
it is very cool. It is very cool. Um, the part of the movie that pulled me out, go, okay, come on, is where the dog got hit by the car and just jumped right back up. I was like, okay, come on.
The dog is too angry to die.
I was like, okay, is this fiction? What's going on here? What?
Indeed, it is fiction, my friend.
But yeah, that's probably was my favorite part was that whole sequence. And then the ridiculously long stair fight.
That's Cameron's favorite.
Um, have you seen the movie Surf Ninjas
Yes.
where they keep throwing the guy down those stairs?
Wait, hold on, hold on. Let me take a look. Let me take a look. Did you? You might have been the one to show me this
I'm about
movie.
to say I think I'm the one that made you watch
You
Surf
showed me
Ninjas.
this movie.
I don't know if my own kids have seen Surf Ninjas, but you have. I've
I
made you watch it.
I was like 6 or 7 when you showed me this movie.
But there's a scene where they're fighting at some temple. They keep throwing a guy down the stairs, and he gets all the way back up, and then
Yeah.
like, you know, so yeah, the him rolling down the stairs over and over. And just if you did a drinking game, every time John Wick got hit by a car, you'd be dead. He
Yeah.
gets hit by so many cars. Um, but yeah, the stairway fight really fun, and Kane and everybody, a lot of
Yeah. And that's whenever nobody. Well, okay, so the scene beforehand is whenever John saves nobody's puppy.
yeah, yeah,
Um, and so then he returns the favor by killing uh, the Marquis's right hand man who was about to kill John. And he says, "You hit my puppy," and so it's kind of cool because you know this whole thing started because John's dog was killed, and it ends because John saved nobody's dog. Kind of a
yeah,
circle thing. It's like poetry. It rhymes.
yeah. And so I like how we've had these four chaotic, just nonstop action movies, and then we slow down for a duel at the end,
Yeah.
which I
Yes.
think is great. And the fact that he's having a duel with a blind guy is just
Yes.
it's ridiculous and also
Yes.
very fun.
Um, because it's a classic duel where John and the Marquis, and then Winston and Kane are their seconds. Like it is the 10 duel commandments from Hamilton.
Yes, yes.
And so um, he has Kane take his place in the duel itself as proxy.
Mhm.
Um, and so it's 30 paces, shoot, 10 paces, shoot, 10 paces, shoot, until one of them is dead.
Mhm.
And it's. I mean, it's great. It's also got my favorite. It's my favorite. It's got my favorite line from Winston. Well, just make sure you have fun out there.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, that's the thing, is if John dies, Winston also dies.
Yeah, yeah, it's a serious deal, and just the fact that Kane is getting off shots and actually hitting John Wick is
Yeah,
it's just incredible, and then the big reveal that the final shot where uh, Marquis is about to
yeah,
shoot John
yeah,
Wick, and then it's like, oh, he didn't shoot his third bullet and
yeah, yeah.
kills him.
It's because like that's the whole thing. The whole thing um, about the John Wick series has been rules and consequences. You break a rule, there are consequences. And the fun thing is that those consequences typically never come to John because John's just that good. And so the Marquis, they shoot, and I do have a question. Did Because I always like to ask this question because I noticed it. I met one person who didn't notice it, and now I've got to be like, okay, is this person just dumb, or do some people just not notice it? Did you notice that John didn't take the shot?
I don't know if I was paying attention enough to.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
I'm watching at home. If I was in the theater, I probably would have caught it.
yeah, gotcha.
Yeah,
Um, so it's he's like, I claim the right to coup de grace. And he takes, and my favorite thing, everything happens for a reason in the sequence. He takes the gun from Kane, and Kane, because
yeah.
Kane also knows, and he says, because right now, their deal is Kane and his daughter are free if he kills John Wick.
Hmm.
So if he doesn't establish this and everything else happens, then Kane and his daughter are not free. So he has to establish, what about me and my daughter? You are free. So that has to happen
Hmm.
right there in that moment.
Yeah.
Loads his gun and he says, rules. And then Winston, you arrogant asshole. He didn't shoot. Consequences. And then he just shoots the Marquis right there in the head.
Hmm.
Um, And my honestly, another one of my favorite things is the whole time Mr. Nobody is just watching this. Like, he doesn't have popcorn, but I think he would have popcorn.
Hmm.
Um, Also, he pours some of his booze into a doggy bowl.
Yeah, yeah.
um, and so the Marquis is dead. The Harbinger, Clancy Brown, is like, well, that's that. And that's kind of like, I kind of see the way I view it is the Marquis is like the hand of the High Table, like, or the fist of the High Table, like just the enforcer, and the Harbinger, Clancy Brown, is kind of like the mouth of the High Table.
Hmm.
And so, like, that's him saying, well, that's it. The We as the High Table have lost.
We
John is,
yield. Yeah.
yeah, we yield. Um, and so, uh, in this, and I mean, like, it's hard not to see it coming because throughout the whole movie, especially throughout the fourth movie,
Hmm.
the only way this ends is like, the only way this ends is with you dead. And he's like, I know.
And then talk about what he wants on his tombstone and everything.
Yeah, it talks about what he wants on his tombstone, loving husband. So he goes onto the steps in front of the church. He keels over and dies.
So this
Maybe.
reminds me of two scenes. One where the similar death worked, and one where it didn't. Blade Runner 2049, where
Yep.
Kay lays on the steps and dies,
Yep.
and then Last Jedi, where Luke's staring at the sunset and dies. One death I think works and one doesn't. But um, yeah, I think it's a beautiful death, and the sunset is just beautiful, and he finally stops. He's been going
hmm
nonstop, and he just finally
Yeah,
relaxes.
and that's why I say, like, he's too angry to die because he's not done.
And
Once the High Table frees him, he's done. And this is the way I view it: 4 movies of injuries and kills and kill shots, and like like it all like it all comes to him at once. You know.
yeah, yeah, and
Uh,
and so we get the scene at the gravestone, and he's like, "Where do you think he's at, heaven or hell?" And they just kind of laugh. But I think the way they both look at each other is kind of like, well, maybe he's not in either. Maybe he's still out there. There's kind of a vagueness to the scene, and I think either ending works. That Winston, hid him away and buried a fake body, or he died. Either ending, I'm fine with. I'm
mhm,
fine with the Baba Yaga's still out there, or I'm fine with, okay, John Wick's got his final rest and he's gone. I'm
mhm.
okay if they go with either ending. And so for them to now announce a part five, we don't know if that's a prequel before this or if this is a continuing the story. We have no idea.
It will be continuing the story because they right now. So ballerina come. We have not received an official confirmation of a Kane spinoff.
Mhm.
However, I need a Kane spinoff.
I do
Uh,
too.
I need Kane protecting his daughter from Akira. Like that.
Yeah.
That's what I need. So I need a Kane spinoff. Um, they announced the ballerina. Ballerina's out. The 2 spinoffs that they announced, we are going to be getting an anime. I don't remember what it's called, but it's going to be John doing the impossible task. So it's going to be an anime miniseries about John doing the impossible task and
Okay.
working with Santino. And then part 5 or chapter 5, I believe, is going to be a sequel to this.
Okay. Um. So yeah, I like the way this ends. I'm curious to see where it goes. And but that was our look at the John Wick saga.
Yep. Uh, and this wasn't planned, but Happy Father's Day. We watched. I would call these dad movies.
Yeah, father. taking care of his family, and
Yeah,
then Winston is a fatherly figure. Sure, yeah, I
yeah.
can play that.
Well, I mean, it's also just kind of like, like Jack Reacher or Jack Ryan. Like these are just like, yeah, this is something that like my dad would watch. Stuff like that. Like the stereotypical like dad watching. Plus, I also think I think that like the John Wick movies are kind of like the modern day Dirty Harry. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, I can see that. Yep.
But yeah, so for Father's Day, go watch some John Wick with your dad.
Yeah. What is next on our agenda?
So we are doing a little bit of a uh, Keanu Reeves month, a mini month. We have I think it's 5 Sundays. We have yeah we have 5 shows this month. And so for the last three, we're doing kind of like a Keanu Reeves mini month. So next week we will be watching a movie that I'm surprised you had never seen, uh,
Oh, this is
Constantine.
Constantine, supposedly getting a sequel. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I'll be excited to see that. This is a DC movie.
Hmm.
So very cool.
Yep. And you can watch it along with us. It is on Netflix until the end of the month, so you'll be good to watch it.
Cool. All right. Well, that's going to do it for us. Please like and subscribe. Tell your friends. Help us grow this channel. And until next time, I've been Final Monkey.
And I'm Caleb.
We'll catch you next time in the deep end.
See ya.